Hi everyone, it's me. I wanted to talk about something a little bit more serious. I've been covering a lot on race, and I talked about my own situation as what it's like to be a white person when you get pulled over by police. And right now, I wanted to talk about why I believe police have so much power, and why so many people. I'm not. Why so many people live in fear of them. And I'm not just talking about police brutality, because for centuries there has been, we've had a police force in place to, basically fight crime and help us follow the laws. And sometimes if you're driving on the freeway and you see a police officer, maybe you'll just go the speed limit instead of going over 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, because then you won't hopefully get a ticket. But if we look back at history, and when it comes to any society in which there has been a monarchy, I'm sorry, monarch butterflies, when there has been a sense of abuse of power against their citizens. And we go back to, I'm just going to go back to World War II. And we talk about the lives of over 6 million Jews, Gypsies, Romans, and anyone that didn't fit, the standard of what Hitler considered was the pure race. The one thing that they have, along with the one thing police departments have, are weapons. And the thing is all it takes is one squeeze of the trigger to end not just one lives, but hundreds of lives. For instance, when that shooting, that mass murder took place a couple of years ago in Las Vegas, one man had one weapon and multiple rounds and took out innocent people watching a concert. I think it was at the Palms Hotel. I don't quite remember. Don't quote me on that. Well, when it comes to looking back at World War II, when you had 6 million people who lost their lives, and I started to do a little bit of research, and it said initially there was 250,000 people in the Nazi Party. 250,000 compared to 6 million. So we wonder, how were these 250 plus then growing individuals able to take the lives of over 6 million people? And it's because they had weapons. They used fear tactics. They would abuse. They would literally shoot and massacre people out in the street in front of a group of people. And Jewish people and I know I've met Jewish people in general, and I, became friends with someone I went to Jewish studies class with, along with my professor, are kind and soft-spoken, reserved. I never really had seen a lot of Jewish people bring a lot of attention to themselves. Most people I've met are demure. The only Jewish person that I really have come to enjoy with the music is Matisyahu. He is Jewish born and came out as this, he's kind of like a reggae rapper, but he's just outstanding. So the only thing that you have when it comes to the police force, when there's how many on one police department? Okay, so in the city of Milwaukee, you have a number of police departments, but there's over 1 million and I think 1.3 million people living in the city of Milwaukee. And you have, I don't know how many officers per department in so many departments, but the only reason they are allowed to, some folks are allowed to abuse their power and maintain control, is because they have weapons. And majority of people I live around don't have weapons. A lot of people I know that have weapons are hunters, people that have taken concealed carry classes, maybe, veterans or things like that. But in general, I've never really known anyone in my family. I've maybe one person out of, hundreds of people that have owned a weapon or a handgun. So That's the one thing they have against us, because let's say you have a police department of 20 people and there's 150,000 people living in an area, or 300,000, whatever. How is it that those 20 people are able to maintain control of 150 to 300,000 people? It's because they have a weapon. And if you took the weapons away from the police officers, would they be able to abuse their power? And going back to World War II, if we took away the weapons of the Nazis and the Nazi supporters, would they have been able to carry out mass murders? And the answer would be no. It is not an even playing field. I'm not saying we shouldn't respect the military and law enforcement and authority, but there comes a point in time when authority abuses its power and doesn't follow certain guidelines when it comes to human decency, respect, response, certain tactics. And what happens is because the police union is absolutely, along with the military, police union, the military is the largest, one of the largest organizations in the world. You're never going to see a majority of the time them turn on their brothers and sisters, because they have a reputation to uphold. They don't want to admit wrongdoing. They don't want to make changes. I mean, when I worked for the city of Milwaukee, they had and even county, they had a computer system that was, I don't know, eons old, and they refused to change. They have people in unions and in power in these government systems that are used to doing it this way. We're not going to do it any other way. To hell if you bring in your ideas to make changes. So how do we enforce change? You really can't. The only thing you can do is get in there, dismantle everything, and then redo. And that's all there is to it. I mean, talking about something else, abuse of power, if anyone's watched, different series, even if you watch Cops, you'll see abuse of power. I'm not, but the problem is with cops is they're on camera 24, they're always on camera. So I don't think you've ever really seen anyone, a police officer, kneel on someone's neck or shoot and kill someone on cops. And if they did, I'm sure they would cut the footage. So what good would that do us? So anyways, wanted to talk about that. And I think we need to revamp. I think if you're young enough and you are able-bodied and you want to see changes, and you are the kind of person that believes in human rights and human decency, and you have the skills to make a difference in this world, I suggest you join the police department, join the military, join any organization which is corrupt, and start exposing them and start making a change. Because as much as we want to bitch and complain and protest and riot, and you got to get into the organization. You have to make change, and you have to do whatever it takes to replace the bad cops with good cops. So that's all I know. That's all I wanted to talk about right now. But I hope this helps someone, and I hope you're all having a good day. Bye-bye.